Hello and welcome into the official SDFC podcast presented by Ford. I'm Kaila Bryn-Steffner here with Marvell and Sal Zizo for episode 24 of the official SDFC pod, our last episode of the 2025 season.
Oh my gosh, don't say that.
What a journey it's been.
It's been incredible. And I have to point out, we're in a different space. If you're watching this, we're in a different space. And I gave the guys some instructions to wear something branded.
The instructions were, if I remember,
we're in our headquarters at Kettner right now.
Wear a little something, maybe a hat. And Marv took it to the next level and went
Marv,
full
I think you can truly see the passion that he has for this club.
That says we might need a little bit of logoing, but if you're lucky enough to be able to see my fit, I got an SDFC hat, I got my founding member scarf, and I've got my hoodie and the blue jeans. I'm decked out on Azul because that's how much I care.
Because you care,
all right?
Exactly.
Yeah, heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
And don't blame me for being an A+ student. Okay?
Well, we've had some fun with Marv on this podcast. We've also had fun with a lot of different players, Sal as well, our guests that we've brought on. I have a little blooper reel that I've played that these guys haven't seen yet, so let's get to it.
Let's kick this show off the road. Is that a thing? Is that a saying?
Let's kick the tires on the fires. Was that Independence Day?
Okay, like who do I go with, But
then you're like Marv going to games by yourself.
Yeah. Will you leave me alone?
You were the first keeper of the flow at the inaugural home match.
I played in the World Series. I played in the World Baseball Classic. I played in front of our fans postseason. I was never nervous, but grabbing that and pulling it up, I was kind of nervous.
One of the characters is Amadeo, and he's like a tall, lanky guy. So he calls me, he calls me Amadeo because of that. So.
Joshua Yarrow was 14 years old. He knew how to cook, so he would cook for the entire academy. This was.
I played with Josh. And
you did?
Our kick guy, Noel Vega, asks, who's better at ping pong, Anis, Ian, or Noel?
Me.
You.
Without hesitation.
Well, Alex Mighton asks, what is your table tennis record against Alex Mighton?
Since we've started counting, it's probably like one to two.
What's kind of your strategy in that game? Are you more of like wheat and ore guy? Are you more like what's your?
I'm not sure I should tell this. The other guys.
The guys will listen to it and then they'll figure it out. What would you listen to before you would go out to a game?
Regulate.
Regulators.
Yeah, Nick Dogg and Warren G.
If I was playing today, mine would be like a K-pop Demon Hunter song.
What a great surprise to have the GOAT legend of right fullbacks in Major League Soccer, Marvell, win on here, and then Sal is like a distant third or fourth.
Yeah, before the game starts, say a quick recite the Psalm 23. You know it?
Yeah, of course I know it.
I bet you don't.
You wanna put money?
Hey, you can recite it right now.
Talk is cheap. Just put the money on. $400 and I'll do it for you.
Nadia Bambino asks,
Oh no.
what is your favorite home cooked meal?
Oh, mama, no.
She does a really good ragu.
And one of the things was pulpo, which is like octopus, and it doesn't look very good, so the other guys wouldn't touch it, and I loved it, so I ate like a whole octopus by myself.
Why does nobody see you outside of the training facility in the stadium?
So Paddy McNair, this guy has been on my case constantly. I've been making plans with people. I'm not going to name names.
I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to try to actually get my mom out to a game.
Oh, nice.
Finally, she's going to join
Didn't you buy 2 tickets for you and your mom all season?
Don't worry about it, Sal. You want to go with me and my mom to show up?
Yes. Well, Marvell's mom did make it out.
She did.
To a few games?
No, she made it out to the first playoff game here.
Okay.
My nephew made it to the second one.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I know.
Yeah,
She finally didn't dish on you for a game.
She did not ditch me. And I was away for a camp against Minnesota, and they both went.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I went with my mom, then I went with my nephew, then they both went.
That's awesome. And we all got to meet Marvell's mom, and she's very lovely. So.
The mom win. And nephew.
Such a great experience being able to talk to everybody and just having these moments, getting to showcase their personalities to you all as well. I think it's been so fun. I want to reflect with you guys on just what this season has meant. Both of you have, been from here, have played in this league, have been so embedded into the sports community in San Diego. What has this club in this first year meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, you could talk way back to when I first, started playing soccer and getting serious to the point, becoming a professional back in 2006. I've always wanted a team in San Diego, an MLS team. It was kind of a combination between what I did for a living, what my identity was, to the city that I love so much, the city that I grew up in, the city that I want to live the rest of my life in, who I have so many family and friends. I care deeply about this city. So for them to get an MLS team, something that, again, I've wanted my entire life really, was magical. And I knew from that moment when they announced it that I just wanted to be involved in any type of capacity. And so, I was lucky enough to, broadcast the game, do this podcast, do some media stuff. And for me, that's huge. As Mikey would always say, I just wanted to be a small part in something very big, and to be able to be a part of it in year one was truly like a dream come true. And I can't wait to further continue this journey with this club and help kind of keep it moving down the right track. Just super excited for this club's future, and so grateful that I was able to be a part of it and that it has started off in such a good way.
I can only echo everything he said. And at the same time, being part of this club has meant more than I would ever imagine it being. In my professional career, been traded around to 4 different teams, but none of those teams can come close to being as big of a fan as I am for SDFC. When they were going on with the Chrome Ball tour, there's this guy that worked for San Jose named Paul. Shout out to Paul. He is a community member guy, and I was looking up when the next Chrome Ball tour was, and I think it was in Escondido, and I made sure to go there to Escondido, and then just I was looking around for him, kind of stalking. I was like, all right, there he is. So I just walked in front of him, pretending I didn't see him there. He's like, Marvell. I'm like, Paul, what are you doing here?
Does he know this story? Does he know that you were?
Actually, I don't know if he knows the story or not.
I can't wait
but
to hear.
I crept in on him. He's like, oh, I'm like, what? You're working for, who's this again? SD, what is it? Oh, okay, cool. So after that, we kept talking, and then he's like, oh, we're actually doing something in Poway, where my mom was from, where I grew up. And became the host there, and then from there, started talking, and then here I am with this club and this team. And it's more to me than I ever imagined, because I'm walking around seeing gear of any sort. I see a hat, I see a shirt, I see a magnet, I see a sticker, and I'm just like, yes, the We Are San Diego Football Club sort of thing. So just being here and being able to be a part of all this it means a lot, to the point where, when the season was over and all that stuff, I had friends texting me like, oh my God, they were sad. They're like, hey man, I'm really sorry, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
It was cool to see like friends and family who, maybe weren't the biggest soccer fans, ever. And then they were big, San Diego sports fans. And so they just started getting into, MLS, and they started, I would have 30-minute phone calls with, friends, and they just wanted to talk SDFC. And I was like, what little tidbits do you know about the club? And I'm like, well, listen to this. but just that type of stuff was really cool, because they just got involved in kind of the space that Marv and I were always in. And we were able to kind of help grow what we loved, and it was cool to see throughout San Diego.
We'll hear so much about just what this club has meant and to build into this community from our guests. We have 2 of, I think, the best conversations we have had on this podcast all year coming your way. We talked to Mikey, Varas, and Tyler Heaps, their reflection on this season, the playoff run, and just everything that this team means to this community. I can't wait for you guys to listen to this conversation. And I'm so grateful for all of the support that you've shown all season long, listening to so many hours. I also want to give a huge, huge shout out to our producer, Ryan. You can't see him. He's on the other side of the camera, but he spent so many hours producing and editing this podcast. And we're so grateful we couldn't do it without him. So massive shout out to him. But without further ado, we want to bring you these conversations.
For that though, I will say, Kaila, I want to say thank you to you. You've done a lot of work to get this pod off the ground and to get all this going.
Show notes.
Stuff that goes unseen. The show notes, exactly, that Marv never reads.
What are you talking about?
I sent them 23 pages before this episode, and I think maybe they've read one, but it's okay.
Actually, this was the first one I actually probably read. So I actually No.
There you have it.
Kaila, shout out to her. She's been huge with keeping this pod on the right track. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm just grateful to be able to get to do this with you all. So, but without further ado, we've got some great conversations coming your way. So we'll cut to them.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
All right, we're joined by head coach Mikey Varas. Mikey, welcome back to the pod.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Thank you for being here. So I know we just spoken to you recently, but that was a few months ago now. A whole playoff run has occurred. What has this last month, 2 months looked like for you?
Just an amazing adventure, and obviously pressure ratcheted up as the season gets going and is getting towards the end. But just a wonderful experience. Not a lot of sleep, but a ton of adrenaline.
Can't imagine that. Oh man. So what are your emotions like during this playoff run? Like, does it feel like any other regular season game, or are little moments a little bit more nerve-wracking, anxiety ridden, or how does that feel sitting there?
I just think the excitement is up a little bit because there's finality to every situation.
Yeah.
So, we go after every game the same and we take every game the same. So that first game of the season is just as important. But when there's finality to a game or a series, okay, if this, then that.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a little bit more excitement. There's a little bit of nerves that we try to use as a productive tool to say, okay, let's make sure we have no regrets at the end of this.
Yeah, so how's that a balance when it came to the preparation in terms of we want to approach every game the same because we want to play our game. This is who we are. This is how we're going to play no matter what. But then with the added pressure, especially with these young players in the first year versus a couple of veterans that have been there, how's that balance on trying to get them prepared not only for the game as usual, but also to deal with the amount of pressure that you all had?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Hopefully every day of training from beginning to the end was so competitive, so intense, that it prepared us for the moment. That's what you hope for as a coach. Then, of course, you got to manage different parts of the season a little bit differently. Beginning of the season, it was a lot about information overload and knowing that they might arrive to a game a little bit more tired, a little bit more full, because we were prioritizing the fact that we need to lay the foundation for style of play and culture. At the end of the season, a lot of work has been done. So the priority was more arriving fresh, sharp, and confident. And so it was about mostly picking the 2 to 3 most important things that we think would help for that game right in front of us, because you have that, that one moment to go out there and perform. And then to make sure that they understand, like, you've done so much work, guys. It's just about leaning into everything you've already done, everything you have, and then seeing where we land.
I know you've spent a lot of time, post-match and then obviously the last couple of days reflecting on this season, but I want to get your perspective. Maybe when you look like 5 years down the road and you look back on this season as a whole, what this team was able to accomplish in the playoff run, what do you think will stand out to you the most about this first season in club history?
I think what will stand out the most is, and I've said this before in different ways, is we all decided, and that's you included, you guys included, Tyler, business. We all decided who we wanted to be from the get-go, and then we went for it. And there's a lot to be proud of when you do that, when you get so many people to fully commit to that in the good and in the bad. I think that will be the most important thing, because that's what gave us a chance of having a special season. At the same time, there's going to always be this tinge of sting. Like, that's never going to go away, because when you're one step away from MLS Cup, there's no guarantees in life you're ever going to get back there. We'll always go for it, But the fact is like you're one step away. So there will be a little bit of bittersweetness to it, but mostly pride that we decided who we wanted to be, we went for it, and we all grew as the season went.
And I know you've reflected on this too, like people forget sometimes that this team literally walked into the door for the first time and all met each other in January, which is less than 12 months ago from now, and then did all that and bought into this plan, this style of play, this culture all together from day one. Like, what does that mean to you as a head coach to be a part of that?
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps because I've always said that I would rather be a small piece of something really huge and special than a big piece of something small. And just being a drop in the bucket for something that I think was so clear for everyone to see is really, really special for me.
Yeah, just I wanted to compliment, you and this entire club in the sense that when this team really ever went down, but especially in the Vancouver game, there's certain teams in sports where you feel like no matter what, you got a chance, right? And so Tom Brady, 2 minutes left in the game, you're like, he's got it, right? You're sitting there, you don't really feel as much pressure. I think this team, to be able to create that feeling in me and probably everybody, that belief that like they've shown it time and time again. It starts with showing it in the season, right? But time and time again, it didn't matter what was thrown at this team. We always responded and always performed so well. And for me, being able to accomplish that in year one by itself, that belief, that identity is, for me, incredible that the club was able to do that in such a quick amount of time that, I'm getting text messages from my friends like, oh, they're down 2-0. And I couldn't have felt more confident that we were never out of that game. And that's what for me was like, kind of like an overall synopsis of the entire season is like, I think I'll always have that feeling about this year's club and obviously hopefully moving forward.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think first and foremost, that's a credit to the players because they bring the football to life. They bring all the concepts, all the ideas, all the intentions to life on the field in real time. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who decide who we are in those moments. That's one. Two, I think you're absolutely right. Like on the sideline, it could be taken as delusional, but down 0-3 in that locker room, all of us believed we're going to get the 1-3.
Yeah.
And when we get the 1-3, we're going to get the 2-3. When we get the 2-3, we're going to get the 3-3. It wasn't a question. It was just about how and making sure we go for it. And then, of course, we get the 1-3, and then we go down a man.
Yeah.
And you can still see.
Yeah, still chances.
We still think we're going to get the 2-3. Yeah. And if we get the 2-3, we're going to get the 3-3. Yeah. And I think that's probably the most important aspect of the DNA that came out, because a lot of people misconstrue who we want to be. Yes, we want to play exciting football. Yes, we want to have the ball. All of that, though, is laid on a foundation of a fighting spirit, a team spirit, a will to win, to do whatever it takes. That's the foundation. Then the football flows from there. And when we said we wanted to be a reflection of the community, that's a direct reflection of the community. And I've also said this before where, people also misconstrue what San Diego is about. San Diego, they think, is only the beaches, only sunshine. Yeah. Everything is chill. Everything is perfect all the time. And what they don't realize is that people who live here, especially people who live here for a long time, they make massive sacrifices and have to work really hard to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And we have people who work day and night, work multiple jobs, so that their kids get to have the experience of living in a place like this. And so I think it's just clearly not only who we are as a club, but it's who we are as a community, and that's the most important thing.
I think when you bring up that reflection of the community, one of the moments that I think is just a pure representation of that is the moment on the field after the game where the fans wouldn't leave the stadium and just stayed there and celebrated that moment and this whole season with the team. Can you reflect on what that moment meant to you?
That was unbelievable. And honestly, like, could make me very emotional just thinking about it, because that's the epitome of en las buenas y en las malas, and just boom, how they elevated the sound in that place. And you know, in full disclosure, you know, when we get the plan, and I'm a preparation guy, so if we win, it's going to be easy. If we lose, guys, okay, who are we going to be in that moment? You know, you have to know that's a possibility. And the idea was that it was going to take 5-6 minutes to get that stage up, and they were going to rope everything off, and okay, we would pay respect to the ceremony, and then we would go to the fans. But then as I was standing there, so that was the plan that I said we should do. Yeah. And you could see everybody was following the plan because we got really good people who are good at following orders. And as I'm standing there and I can see Vancouver in the opposite corner, and I just feel Frontera getting louder and louder, I was like, the plan's not right. And so that's when I kind of said, guys, let's go. And I went under the rope, because they earned that, you know, they earned that, and wasn't going to be making them wait 12, 14 minutes for that. No, they earned that. And it gave me goosebumps because, you know, you look at Frontera SD, and it's a great reflection of all our fan base. And you just have a diverse group of people. You have people from up north, you have people from south, east, from the beaches, you have kids. You know, you have Latino people, you have people who probably work blue collar, you have wealthy people, and they're just all there together, all unified for their love of their city and their club. And it was a really beautiful moment for all of us.
Yeah. No, I was sitting there. I was able to bring my dad, my little son, my daughter, my brother, and his son, and we were watching the game. And, you know, I was kind of like at that stage where I was seeing them set up the stage, and I was kind of like in player mode, like, I don't want to watch them celebrate on our field, you know. But then I saw Frontera to my left, and they just kept going and going and going. And I actually got goosebumps as well. And my daughter was watching, and my son. And it was like one of those moments of like how I felt in the city of San Diego when the Padres went to the World Series and lost in '98 and the fans were staying there, or when they started waving the towels, everyone had the towels in the stands, and it just felt like it was the Frontera, but then it was like the entire stadium was kind of merging with it. And it was just kind of one of those moments that, like, as a San Diego sports fan, player that grew up here, was really like fun to see the city and like a special moment that will be etched in my brain. Of how this season kind of came to an end, and it just kind of culminated on what the season meant and just how special it was for the city. So again, like, just another thank you just to how much this meant to so many people, because it wasn't just the people watching the game; it just was so much more for everybody else as well.
I appreciate that, and I think it's such a good point that it wasn't just Frontera.
Yeah.
You know, I've been talking to people in recent days and saying, you know, it was the whole stadium.
Yeah.
There were so many people. You could feel it coming from your left, from your right, from behind you. It was quite overwhelming. And I think when we started the first games, what I've had reflection about is, like, you could see the club went through a lot of effort to make it like an entertainment, right? The fireworks, there was singers, there was this, there was that. You know, we tried to go out and win games and play good football. Frontera from the beginning was going. And it felt like early on, it was like, okay, we're here and we get fans there, and that's cool, but it's an entertainment thing. Man, towards the end of the season and through playoffs, all of a sudden you start to feel like, no, this is a football.
Yeah.
This is a football game.
Yeah.
In a football city. And it's not just Frontera. The whole stadium is into it. They're trying to push the referees.
Yeah.
They're lifting us up when we're down. You know, they're all making a chant in unison. And then all of a sudden we were still doing all that other stuff, the fireworks and the flow, right? All that stuff, it's still cool. But all of that, all of a sudden, was secondary.
Yeah.
And the main ingredients were the guys on the field giving everything, and the entire stadium tuned into that energy of the players and connecting with them and being part of the game.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, okay, now we've arrived.
Got it. Yeah.
We've arrived as a region. We've arrived as a club. It's not a team thing. It's not that the team did this or a supporter thing. It's no, we have arrived as a region, as a club, and as a city. Like, we're here.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see that from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, where now we have all this collective memory. And, you know, Kaila and her team help us so much with these videos every once in a while that we ask for in preseason or postseason to kind of give that a little extra spark. And a lot of it has to do around the fans, because around the community, because they're so important to us. But the lasting memory for me that will bridge the end of last season and the beginning of next season will be that moment. That moment where the whole stadium is behind us in the toughest of moments.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a driving force for us.
I know that early on you always said that you wanted the team to represent San Diego as a community. And I mean, I walk around, granted, I mean, I'm all decked out. I'm a huge supporter myself, obviously, but I go around hearing the chant, "We are San Diego Football Club." Like, it rings true. And I believe this is one of the teams where when you say that, you are part of the club. I mean, talking from the players during these podcasts to saying, we're a family, we're tight, we're connected, to all the coaches saying, we're a family, we're tight, we're connected, to the fans, from the supporters, to actually feeling it throughout. And I think they really feel it, and I think they really mean it. So when you came here, I know you wanted to outreach the community and all that stuff. Was San Diego's response to this club as a whole what you thought it was going to be? Do you believe that you connected in a way that you never expected? Or was it completely out of nowhere for you?
I mean, I always knew that it had huge potential. I've always, I think, hopefully paid my respects to the region historically as a footballing region, as a passionate region, a region that loves their city and loves the sport. Like, that's a great combination, right? But they've completely blown any possible expectations out, because in the playoffs we had the best environment in the whole league. And I would say I don't know how many environments in Liga MX you're going to find that can match what we did. That 35,000 felt like 70,000. You know, that was pretty insane. And at the end of the day, just grateful, as Yeppe said, to have landed in a footballing city, because they're such a crucial part of who we are. And I hope that we continue to honor that, so that we all grow together. You know, whether my career as a coach is long or short, is deemed by anybody on the external as quote unquote successful or a failure, will be secondary to the feeling if the city and the players and the staff really believe that, as their leader, I try to give everything for them and with them in every single moment. That would be the most important thing for me, because like I said, this club is going to be a giant. It's going to be a giant, and it's going to be here 50 years from now. And my biggest responsibility is to push this project in the right direction, where I honor the future generations also.
Yeah, so going off of that a little bit, so year 2, right? Like, the expectations obviously are a lot raised, not only from, you know, fans and everybody watching, but there's certain expectations now, like San Diego's here, right? So what are the challenges going into year 2, based on all the success in year 1, that you're going to face to continue growing this ship and this club in the right direction?
Yeah, I think the first challenge is making sure we have a mentality of what's next.
Yeah.
You know, I think most people, when they work really hard, because people had to work so hard, and they hit a little bit of success, the natural exhaustion that follows creates a bit of a dip.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be different, though. We want relentlessness to be part of our DNA in the region and in the club. So the first challenge is going to be, what's next? And people will question, can they repeat it? Was it just a fairy tale beginning? And I think that will be the wrong question. Mm-hmm. Externally, they can ask that question. The right question will be, can we improve it? And I'm not talking about results, because I never talked about results. Mm-hmm. Setting goal results is not how we got there. It's how we showed up every single day. It's how we woke up in the morning, spent our day, went to bed at night with intention, with ambition, with hard work that gave us a chance of doing something special. And we need to see if we can improve in that mindset, that process, that day to day. Because if we can, then I know the long-term prediction that I have that the club will be a giant, will be safe and in good hands. And we'll give ourselves a chance to do something special again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, all you can do, like, you can have what you mentioned right there, and you said the results, like, you could end up with slightly less points or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, if the club is still climbing and moving in that right direction, like you said, it gives you that chance and continues to give you the odds to potentially keep moving forward and moving on in playoffs and going further and further.
Exactly.
I want to touch on something we've talked about a little bit. I know you've mentioned it on the podcast. We've talked a little bit with Kelvin and with Frank about just some of these internal milestones that have been set. I know we've kind of, given a brief overview, but I want to hear from your perspective, how in establishing this culture and creating a space where milestones that are not just, results driven are being celebrated within the team. What does that look like for you? What is the importance for that in building that into the culture of this team?
Yeah, it goes back to the everyday. What you do every day is what's most important, right? And I think so. I think a majority of clubs in the world, they set objectives or goals, whatever you want to call it. You want to qualify for this, or you want to win that. But guess what? Everybody does that. Everybody wants to make playoffs. Everybody wants to win. So, okay, great. Like you sign up for this, and if you're not wanting to win, like you're in the wrong business. So what can we do that helps us do that? That's actually more important. Okay, yeah, everybody wants to do that, including us. Let's put that aside then. What's going to help us do what we need to do every day to give us the best chance of reaching those? And that's where the milestones concept come from. And we have a few different types of milestones. So we have milestones that are, let's call it like just game to game milestones, right? Like that are like, we did this. And if we do this often enough, you have a better chance of winning. So for example, scoring 3+ goals in a game. Like that's something that's a milestone for us. Anytime we can hit 3 goals. We want the mindset that if we have 2, we want 3. Okay, so that's a milestone. The other milestone is win the box entry battle. We get in their box more often than they get in our box, right? So we have a set of these that we know if we hit these in a game, it's more likely we will have won the game than not. And so we're very intentional with that. Then there's like results that are just single game results, right? So this would be like a bounce back win. So we've lost and then we've bounced back because we talk about, top teams bounce back quicker than average teams. Okay. Another one might be starting a streak, attacking a streak, keeping a streak going. This is all like a result one that you can get in any one game that might kind of set a pattern. Then we have a cluster of games, and this would be like, a week of 3 games that we get at least 7 out of 9 points. So don't be happy with just 2 wins and a loss. The very minimum, try to get 2 wins and a draw or 3 wins. Okay, and we did that. Single game one, an example would be road points, right? We talked about road points. Home win. A home win was a milestone, and then road points. So you could get 3 milestones if you got all 3 points away. And this drove the mentality of the group. And another example of the cluster of games would be getting 10 road points. That was one. So getting 10 road points. So knowing that not just getting one, but like let's get a cluster of road points that matter. And then I think we at least tied some records from a road perspective.
One incredible, yeah.
Right? And then there were then there's the big ones, right? You qualified for playoffs. Okay. We qualified for Copa Champions. Okay. And these are the big ones that we'll probably start the milestone wall next year with those 2 already on the wall. But all the other ones, they got to go away because now you got to start earning those again.
That's really cool. You mentioned qualifying for CONCACAF Champions Cup. I want to talk to you a little bit. I know Sal and Marv have some questions about this. It's just what opportunities does being able to play in additional tournaments like that, and also having, you know, games like the World Cup that's going to create space. We talked to Tyler a little bit about it, about, you know, midweek games and all of that kind of additions to the calendar. What kind of opportunity does that create for next year?
Yeah, we're going to need a bigger squad, and maybe a few more players, but also just a robust squad that you can count on. You can count on 2 per position, because there's going to be plenty of opportunities for players to play. And I think this is something we really worked on all year, about making our squad bigger. How do we make our squad bigger? We sign guys who can play multiple positions. We have competition in positions, right? And then we have enough players. And that will be a really important thing that guys take advantage of going, because we play now 3 competitions, and we play in a congested season because of the World Cup break. So for us to have a good season, it's going to take more guys than it took this year.
Does it make it a little bit easier as a coach to integrate a lot more of these players and to get them to really buy in and feel part of the team when there's so many games and so many competitions? You know, I remember as a player, you know, we were talking about it where like we would have these Open Cup games, and now you're getting the guy that hasn't seen MLS minutes all year and he's starting at right back or whatever, right? I think these games, right? And we talked about Dua as a you know, an example of that, right? Someone that really performed well in a game that wasn't an MLS game, and then it gave him the opportunity to really take off and grasp the opportunity. So, you know, are these games something that do you want to play as many competitions as possible? Do you like that? Is it easier as a coach to be able to now integrate these players and help them grow as players?
I think if we believe in the power of opportunity and we have guys who are actually earning it, then you could say quote unquote easier. It could also be harder. Right? Because if you don't have guys who are earning it and you feel like you have to play the same group, then it becomes a pretty big mountain to climb playing so many games. We always look at it as a great opportunity though. Play more games, make our squad bigger. We trust. We start from a level of trust in terms of trusting our players to prepare themselves the right way and to take advantage of their opportunities. The main thing that I think is going to be an advantage this year is that we'll never have to experience the onboarding of 20-something players at once again. You know, so we'll be integrating a few new faces, but a lot of the guys will have had a year's worth of, you know, work. Right? To hit the ground running on. And I think that's something I'm really excited about, seeing how we take the next step with that.
I was actually going to bring something like that up because we were talking, about a year ago? How many players do we have signed up? Maybe 6 or so. And then you had to come in and then try to get all of them on board. And with the speed and the success that this team has had, it's almost like the first year, there's not really it doesn't feel like there's going to be a big downtime to get ready for next year because CONCACAF is coming so quickly. So it's as if, we do have players that have been in this for a year, but now we have to get a whole bunch of new players to hopefully get them to buy in. But with the way that the first year went and them all being on board as much as they were, it's almost like, you know what? We're all going one way, and these new guys, we can bring them right in. And not only can we bring them right in, but they can actually potentially start in these big games and then get an opportunity, because that's the kind of atmosphere and environment that you brought here is no matter what year you or amount of experience you have, you can come in and start right away. When you're looking at these new players that are coming in and all that, are you thinking starting potential or just potential opportunity? We're the right place for you.
Yeah, everybody needs to come here with a mentality that they want to try to start. And everybody we should sign that has the ability to push for starting. I want those kind of headaches as a coach. I want the headaches that we just have so many good players that are so performing well that I have to make the tough decisions. I think the worst, easiest decisions a coach has is that the lineup is made for itself every single week so clearly. You know, I think that competition drives. And what I would say is it's important that all the players and all the fans also know that something else we've established really well this year, and it's not me, it's everybody, is that It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your name is, how much money you make. It doesn't matter. If you help the team win, you will get opportunities here. You know, you can earn something here, no matter where your starting point is. And we're really direct with you. So we might tell you straight to your face, day one, you're the third so-and-so. You're the third string this.
Right now.
But that's your GPS.
Yeah.
That's your starting point.
Yeah.
Now you go show me that you're better. And you can do that here. And I think that's massively important.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to play for that coach? I've had coaches before say, well, we want to play this guy, but we're paying him this much. We can't do it. Or we're playing this one, but he's a veteran and he's a rookie. Oh, I can't do it. I can only imagine looking in on this club and seeing the opportunity, like who wouldn't want to be here? Who wouldn't want to be a part of this community? Who wouldn't want to be a part of this family? And I think that's, obviously an homage to what Tyler and you have come to create. And I mean, everybody just feels it, I believe.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Last one from me until we send you off into a new year and a new season. But when you reflect back on that first team meeting where everyone's shaking hands for the first time, walking into that room and meeting everybody, until you look at now sitting here and the season that you've had, how do you sum up this journey you've been on specifically with this team, with this group?
Yeah, I mean, that's what a reflection. Like, I remember going into that first meeting and like 2 hours before, I was like, I think we got to spend like 15 minutes just people talking here.
Yeah.
Like it was
Getting to
like,
know each
I
other.
was like, I don't know why I think I'm starting with this slide when the first thing just seems to be, all right, guys, pick a partner, introduce. And we basically did like a speed dating thing where we took 15 minutes and it just had a ton of different conversations. I would say that our values, I would sum it up that the values have taken root. The values that everybody comes in with the intention. First of all, everybody comes in with the realization that none of us are perfect and that we all mess up all the time. That's number one, including me. But that we do come in with the intention of being good people, of having a growth mindset and embracing competition. And I think that's really clear. And I would sum it up that that's where we're at right now. That's the big difference, where last year it was words on the wall, on the slide, and probably at least half the players going, yeah, I've heard this same old story before, to now them going, that's who we are. And if somebody wants to join, that's who you have to be. Otherwise, it's not going to work here.
That's really special. And a lot of work goes into that. So it's really commendable as well. So thank you again for all of your time and your work into this organization. And I think we're all very excited for what the future holds for this club.
I think it's just important to note that, so many people thank me. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't think I deserve it, because it's taken every single one of us. It's taken all of us for that work to be done. And of course, I have to play my part, but that includes every fan, every Fronted SD, every season ticket holder, anybody who just caught the bug, even the last few weeks because of playoffs. Like every single one of us was a drop in the bucket of helping start this. And I just hope that all of us stay as committed, because the city and the club has a special journey ahead of them if we do.
Awesome.
I don't have any other words to say. That's a perfect way to wrap it. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
As the official specialty insurance partner of San Diego FC, Palomar offers standalone earthquake insurance that protects property and peace of mind. It's crucial to be prepared. Visit plmr.com or contact your insurance agent for a quote. Palomar, reimagining specialty insurance with innovative, creative solutions.
Hey, welcome in, Tyler, sporting director. Nice to have you back on the pod.
Thanks for having me. Been a
Thanks
long
for
year.
being here. You were our last guest, but there's been a lot that has happened since the last time that we've had on this show. Just walk us through what this last month or so has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been, I think, rewarding, probably the first word that comes to mind. Stressful, because these are finals, right? You get to a point where we had 3 elimination games, the third game against Portland and then Minnesota, and then this last one against Vancouver. And so that's going to add stress to the environment and to everything else that comes with it. But also a sense of pride about everything that we were able to accomplish and continue that into playoffs. It's not easy to be one of the last 4 teams standing. Some clubs haven't made it to that stage in a long time, and grateful that we were able to do it in year 1. But with that comes disappointment because it all ends so quickly, and that's what happened on Saturday night.
Last time we spoke, you said the challenge heading into playoffs was to leave as little doubt as possible. What can you say about the expectations that you had for this club, the team had for this club in the playoff run, and the outcome from your perspective?
Yeah, I think when you get to the playoffs, everybody thinks they can win it. I think that's American sport. That's why you play playoffs. It's you get to a point where everybody's on the same level playing field. It doesn't really matter what you did in the regular season. And I thought in that first series against Portland, I think we left little doubt. Yes, we did lose a game, or we tied a game and then lost in penalties. But I thought in the third game we were fantastic, and it was a really good bounce back from the team. It was difficult with a long break. We had sent guys away on international. Unfortunately, we had sicknesses and injuries and everything else that comes with it, and that's the challenge of MLS schedule. And luckily, with the recent news, that will hopefully change in the near future, where we'll be playing the playoffs straight through. And so I'm really looking forward to that because it's really challenging. Then you play a Minnesota team that's completely different, and you got to prepare in one way. And then you play a Vancouver team that's the complete opposite. And so my reflection looking at that is I thought we were very clinical, very good in the Portland game, very good in the Minnesota game to try to leave as little doubt as possible, even though it was a really difficult challenge. And then you play a Vancouver team, and we hadn't played a team like that in a long time. That's the difficulties of the MLS schedule. It had been 2.5 months that we played a team that went toe-to-toe with us. And we were able to dominate the possession in the 4 games against Portland and Minnesota. And then you play a team that's going to try to control the ball. And we were far from our best, and that's probably my biggest disappointment is that the team probably had one of their worst games of the season. But they showed a tremendous fight, and we went down to the final whistle and still had a chance to make it 3-2 with 10 guys, and you never know what can happen in sport. So it is a sense of pride, but it is also still a thorn in my side. I think I've lost all emotion since that day, and just trying to now focus on how we get better and how we continue to improve.
If there was a camera on you during these playoff games and whatnot, where are you watching the games? Are you pacing? Are you driving a car like Billy Bean, not watching the game? But like, what are you doing during?
No, I watch intently. My background's in analysis, so I love watching. I don't show a lot of emotion at all. My normal spot is up next to the radio booth. It's just myself and the assistant sporting director, Mark. And however, this was a unique situation. We had our ownership traveling back and forth, so I actually sat next to Lutfi Mansour for most of the games. We had a suite with just a few of us in there watching that. I don't show a lot of emotion whether we win, lose, tie. And I think even after we lost, I probably showed less emotion. It was difficult for me to find any emotion inside of me. It's probably my biggest strength and my biggest weakness is that. My wife would tell me it's a huge weakness, but I think it's a big strength. But yeah, I believe that my job is done at that stage. My job has been done at that stage, and I'm not directly correlated to what happens in the game. And so I like to just sit back and enjoy it because that's why we are all in this sport, why we work day in and day out. Game day is the best day, right? And so the ability to just relax before and show up and be able to watch and hopefully be entertained. And I was entertained often this season. So that's kind of how I approach match days.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, you guys talking about like leaving little doubt. I think there's very little doubt that this team will not fight to the very end. I mean, I was at the game. Everybody in my section was still standing, cheering and screaming. Like there, in no way did anybody ever think that we were going to give up. So looking back on this year and everything, look what you did. Yeah. Look what you did, and look at what you did that made it a we that we can all be a part of. So moving forward, with so much success in the very first year, when it comes to recruiting and scouting process, I mean, are you looking to do the exact same, or are there little holes that you think you can fill, or how's your approach going to be? Is it going to be similar or just different than the very first year?
I'm hoping to never do the first year again because we won't sign 26 players ever again. So that's a good thing. We have a lot of continuity. We have a lot of guys coming back. We had a lot of loans with options this year, and I think a lot of people proved that they should be here long term. And so now it's about finding the details. It's about making sure now the players that we bring in enhance the culture and they enhance the team. We need to increase competition. Everybody got a year older, and sometimes for the young ones that's great, but for the older ones sometimes that's a challenge. And so the expectations of those players next year, we need to figure out what those are and how we approach that. And then also we arrived in preseason with a new style of play that not a lot of people knew. And I think the beginning of the season, we were just forced to play guys over and over and over again. If you look at some of the minutes that Anders, Jeppe, Chris McVeigh, everybody racked up over this year, it's a huge credit to them that they were able to stay available and stay fit. But we can't do that next year because the schedule is ridiculous. Everything is jammed in the beginning of the season. Then you got this long break, and then it's jam-packed at the end of the season. And so that means more midweek games. That means more rotation. That's going to come natural, but also what we need and are forced to do. And that will mean more opportunity for new players. And so we need to make sure that competition level from the top guy to the bottom guy is as small as possible, and that we prepare those players as much as possible to contribute. So we're looking everywhere. We have a lot of flexibility from a roster build standpoint, which we're fortunate. We didn't go and sacrifice everything to have success in year one, but sustainability is probably the most difficult thing to do in sport. And now the expectations are a bit higher. And so we need to ensure that the recruitment style is also goes hand in hand with that.
Man, it just kind of seems like the atmosphere that we have about this club is, whether you're coming in as a first year, like a Manu Dua, or if you're a veteran, like an Anders or a Chucky, like the competition is always there. And it doesn't matter about the gap in experience or the gap in age. Everyone comes in here to fight because they know they have a chance to start and win. And then that's been proven this year. So whoever is coming in, I hope that they themselves know I'm going to a team, no matter my experiences, that I could start. Just depends.
Totally. I think that training matters. And Mikey says that well, and he means it. And I think this year proves it. We were able to say that before we had a team, and now I think it's a lot easier to recruit some of these guys. And we've got young players that want to come here and play, and we've got veterans that want to come here and play. I think now that the facilities and the fan base and everything is on full display, I think it's nothing short of amazing. And the fact that we built this club in 12 months, right? It's a testament to everybody that's been a part of this project. And now it makes hopefully my job easier. Well, easier and harder, right? Because the harder piece is that the standards are set and we need to bring in real quality, but easier in the sense that we have a real thing to build off of and now real life and real games and real footage to go off of to show players and say, look, this is what we're going to do. And I said a lot what we were going to do, and what I'm probably most proud of is the fact that we were able to accomplish quite a bit of that.
It's funny because when we were players, they used to have like a sheet where you would fill out as a player. I think it was for the player union. And it would say like your most desirable place to play and your least desirable place to play. I'd imagine San Diego's got to be like top 2 or 3 for most desirable places to play. Just not even just this beautiful city and the facilities and everything, but just from a playing standpoint, like the style of play, what you mentioned, like anybody can get on the field if you prove it in training. Like there's so many reasons why I just feel like this has got to be a top destination for a lot of players.
Yeah, I had a lot of really good conversations with people on the field, players in particular, after the games, and they were really complimentary. And I think that's why we're all in this sport. We want to entertain. We want to, and so having those players come up, Seb Berhalter came up to me after the game and just said like, hey, really amazing what you guys have been able to accomplish here. Will Trapp did it after the Minnesota game. And so I've been fortunate that I've worked with some of these players in the national team level, and then to hear them come after and say that. Darlington Nagby came up to me after the Columbus game and said, hey, like, it's amazing what you guys have built here. That goes a long way, because those guys have been, and those guys are real players in this league, and they've seen this league grow and they've grown with it. And so the fact that we're the new child in this and people speak so highly of it, those are the ones that probably make me the most proud, because we built something that people want to be a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no shortage of text messages that I get like, wow, man, like you guys are incredible. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think anybody expected this, but like that's what's kind of crazy in this whole situation is like the expectations weren't there, and then we just brought it to like the highest level. And that's why, Marv mentioned next year, and you've mentioned a few times now, the expectations are a lot higher, the bar's a lot higher. So
Obviously those metrics, and when hearing from people who've been in this league, just documenting the success that this club has had is huge. But for you, being a numbers guy, being a data guy, how do you quantify the success of this team from year one?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positive outcome. I mean, this year we led the league in minutes played by teenagers, and we have no academy. I mean, there's clubs that have had academies for 10 plus years, and we were able to go out. We were able to go out and acquire these guys, and they were able to show that they have the quality. And Mikey showed that he has the belief and the trust to play them. And they came out, and so I think nearly 11% of our minutes this year were played by teenagers, and we had consistent starters throughout. I know we played an extremely young back line the entire playoffs. We had no one over the age of 22. We showed that there still is value in the NCAA draft. It's a huge credit to our scouting and recruitment, but we had 2 college draft picks play among the highest minutes played of any draft pick this year. We were able to lead the league in possession. We had the highest possession percentage in the last 7 years of MLS. And so we came out from the beginning and said we're going to be a ball dominant team. And I think I got laughed at quite a bit by people in and outside the league of like, okay, good call, but it's difficult in this league. And we showed that we were going to play with conviction and we were going to play with and be brave. We won 22 games this year. If you look at the last couple of years, there's not a whole lot of teams that can say they've won 20 plus games in this league. And as a first year team, I think it made it even sweeter and more impressive. The record on the road, I know has been talked about a lot, but we showed that it doesn't matter where we play. I was told by everybody that you need to have a different style of play at home and on the road because it's too difficult in this league to go and travel. And now we have to prove that wasn't a fluke. But we went on the road and we beat a lot of really good teams in their own environment. And we went there and played with conviction and controlled the game and everything else. We had a player with 40 plus goal contributions, which hasn't happened in this league's existence very often. And I know he'll be the first one that says that's a collective. And he was totally bought in from the beginning. And so when you start looking at all that stuff, and I'm looking at numbers often, we like to say that we're proactive here and not reactive. And we looked at that stuff throughout the entire year and we used it to try to make gains and to try to improve. And that will now be the key going into next year. We have a kind of a reflection with the ownership group to show, okay, where do we think we can improve from a squad standpoint? But everybody is a year older. And our belief is that those younger players are going to come back hungrier and better. And now that's our intent of how we approach next year.
When you look at, some of those plans that you put in place from the beginning, from day one, what were some of those pivotal moments during the season where you're like, this is working?
It's going to sound cliche, but it's every day. Like I got to show up to work every single day and I wanted to be there. And that is a huge testament to the guys that we had, and that's players and staff. But I think we've created an unbelievable culture. These seasons get long. We were there for 11 months straight. I think we reported on January 5th and introduced ourselves to all each other. And I showed up every day to work and I was excited to be there, whether we had just lost the day before or whether we had just won. And that was the same whenever we got eliminated. We all showed up on Monday and we had player meetings and people still care. And I think those are the key moments for me, is like, it didn't feel like a drag. It didn't feel like a job. I got to show up and be there with people that were really committed to the same thing that we are. And we were all on the same mission, and it felt like a special group, and it is a special group. And I know we came up 1 game short and 2 wins away from it, but I have no doubt that everybody in that locker room felt a bit of disappointment. And the fact is that you're a Final Four team in this league and we feel disappointment. I think that's also a credit to the culture and the drive of the players and the staff that we brought in.
So we haven't really seen the progress from the academy to the first team yet, right? The academy is just kicking off. Can you talk a little bit about where the academy is, where it's progressed so far? I know the U13 team is kind of getting the ball rolling a little bit. What that's going to look like in the next few years?
Yeah, I think it's going to grow slowly, and we knew it was going to take a little while. So I look at it from a first team standpoint. If I relate it back to the first team, we kind of have a 5-year quote unquote plan, right? Okay. 1 to 3 is about building the foundation. So year 1 done, but now year 2 and 3 is still about building the foundation. We won't have that academy pathway yet. What's key for us now going forward is how do we incorporate more of the Right to Dream pathway? So how do we get players from our other academies that are fully up and running? Egypt now has the oldest player nearly ready to turn 18 and be able to go and travel and come to be a professional. Scandinavia and Ghana are totally up and running. And so we need to find ways to incorporate that in year 1 to 3. Year 4 and 5, I look at as transition. So I think that's when you're going to start seeing those oldest academy players start to integrate into first team training. And then it's all about timing. So when are those players ready? What are the opportunities that are available for them? Is it a position need? Is it an injuries situation? And then I think after 5+, this club will also look a lot different than it looked this year. I think you're going to see that number of teenagers continue to increase, and that's a credit to all the scouting hours that the academy recruitment staff is putting in and the coaching hours. And so it is just a U13 team right now. It is largely 2012s and 2013s that are there, and that seems like an eternity away. But there was also 2009s that made their debuts in this league this year. And so it's not too crazy to think that in a couple of years, that first kid that's in there right now, goofing off in the lunch line and trying to cause havoc is going to be a first team player. And I think that's my job to ensure that those opportunities exist when those players are ready. And it's the academy's job to make sure that they're as ready as possible, as quick as possible. And so I'm really looking forward to how we continue to build that, and it'll make my job a lot easier because if you can recruit internally, it's always better than going and recruiting externally. And you can already see that. You go watch this U13 team, there's qualities there, and the style of play there is looking exact same as what we're doing. And I went and watched a game during this playoff run, and the referee came up to me and he said, "Hey, I'm a season ticket holder. Congratulations. I can see the same team playing." He's like, I thought that was Chris McVeigh getting the ball right there and bringing on. And so that's, again, it's about that collaboration and making sure that we're aligned. And I know we will be. And I know that in a couple of years, we're already going to be seeing some of those players come through.
If you look at, obviously all the success we've been talking a lot about on the field, but off the field, the culture and the environment that this team has created for this community, you could see that in the playoff matches. They were all sold out, all of the home matches for their season. What's your perspective on being able to experience that, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I had an unfortunate last job. Well, I had a fortunate and unfortunate last job, right? And my last job was at AS Monaco, which is among the lowest attendance in all of world football, which is crazy because they have some of the biggest football talents come out of there. And so I lost a little bit of what that special game day felt like. I've been fortunate. I've traveled the world and I've been able to see some unbelievable atmospheres and be a part of it. And then to be able to build this from scratch. And I remember going to some of the first meetings a year and a half ago where I'm the representative of the club to go meet with the supporter group who have no idea the players that we're going to sign, right? And so it comes full circle that last moment. And I don't think you could even hear the trophy celebration that Vancouver was doing because I saw some of those same faces and their kids in the stands just belting out, obviously, the chants that they've created. And that's a full circle moment for me. And it's unbelievable, the fact that we did build this club. And the fact that those guys turn out in those numbers. I mean, that supporter section, it wasn't just the playoffs. That supporter section in Frontera SD was filled nearly every single game. I remember Friday night against Nashville, that place was rocking.
Even Wednesday nights.
Exactly, because of them. And then the fact of, like, there were two really moments in the playoffs that stick with me that give me real hope for the future, that this thing will only continue to get bigger and bigger. And it was that final moment on the field against Vancouver. And then it was the 94th, 95th minute against Minnesota, where it's normally the chants coming from the supporters, and it was the entire stadium chanting. And I think those moments were really, really cool and really special to be a part of because I've seen that supporter group, and it's a huge credit again to the staff here that have helped build that. It's a huge credit to them as a union coming together and making sure that it was one voice and a powerful one. And being able to see that on match day is special. And I'm really looking forward to already coming back home next year and trying to continue to build off that.
Yeah, I was next to the Frontera at the end of the Vancouver game, and it's like no one wanted to leave. And it reminded me a little bit, and I don't, talking my age here, but in '98 when the Padres lost in the World Series against the Yankees, similar, like the fans just stayed for like hours after the game ended, and just to congratulate the team and show their appreciation for how well the season went and the effort that they all put in. And that's exactly what I felt. And like, it's such a good foundation to have in year one. Like, it was just almost like a perfect storm, right? Like the fans just kept growing and we're always there from day one. And same with the team, right? Like, it all just kind of came together at the end. And, obviously you could say it's just a little bit short, but like, I think, you look at things from a broader lens and you say, wow, like what a foundation that's been set at San Diego, for years to come. So yeah, that moment I was with my dad and my son and my daughter, and we were watching that, and I was just sitting there and just like kind of just admiring it all. Like, wow, like this has been built, in the span of 1 year. Like, it's just incredible.
I think it's a real connection too.
Yeah.
I think there's a real connection between the supporters and the players and everything. And that's because this is team one. Like, I believe that they had access to these players that no one knew who they were. And then you hear some of the cheers for Luca Bombino and Manu Duo when they announce their names. Like, there's no way anybody in this city knew who those guys were.
You're building icons, like what you mentioned,
Exactly. And now those guys are household names. Yeah. And I think that is it's an incredible thing. And that connection between supporters and club is really important because, look, I was that supporter at one point, right? I grew up envying the Minnesota Thunder players that I went and watched. And I still remember shaking Joe Warren's hand after a game, and like, those things stick with you. And now I hope that it's, whether it's your son or someone else's son, I got to shake Luca Bombino's hand. Like that, those are moments that, again, I have to pinch myself a little bit because I'm in this role now and I've been able to help build this thing, but there's so many other people that play a factor in that. And these are memories that people are creating for a lifetime. And it's truly remarkable to be able to see all that.
So what does this time now look like for you? You kind of take the deep breath, the season's done, but there's so much more work to do on your realm. What does this look like for you?
Yeah, it really never stops. I do need to try to find a way to make it stop for a little bit. I haven't seen my wife much. We got married almost a year ago, and I think I've seen her about 20 days. So I do need to take a little bit of a break, but the transfer window comes really quickly. We've had exit meetings all week. So we met with every single player, the ones that are staying and ones that are going. And sometimes those are really difficult and challenging conversations. We met with staff members to make sure that we're prepared because we already have this preseason start date and we're trying to already iron out that. And so, but these next couple of weeks is about reflection. I think it's about looking at where we can improve. It's about looking at contract situations, how we're looking for next year, which is we're already pretty far along on. And then it's about being ready for preseason, but also being ready to move on any potential targets, making sure that we set the foundations and that we know what the financial implications could be and that they're aligned with what the club has, and that we go after the players that we think can improve the team. And then there's always a little break during the holidays in football, and well, there isn't in England and some of these other countries, but there is here at least. And then the transfer window opens pretty quickly whenever you start preseason, and then preseason will be busy because we start CONCACAF Champions Cup very quickly. So just making sure that we have all that stuff buttoned up. We have a staff ready to go in case there's anybody we're adding there, and then getting ready to start this thing again.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you've touched on it a little bit, but can you touch on kind of some of the changes that are coming up for this upcoming season leading into 2027 where things will really change? You mentioned CONCACAF, obviously the World Cup will have some adjustments to the season, just kind of what that looks like. Can you just give an overview of just what changes are coming for next season in terms of the schedule and what to be prepared for? Yeah,
the biggest change for 26 is that we play before MLS season starts. It's CONCACAF Champions Cup. We qualified for that in year one, and it's a fantastic achievement. We're going to get a big team to start. We're in pot 2 because of the way CONCACAF rankings work, which means we're going to get a pot 1 team, which is probably one of the big 4 in Mexico or one of the big 4 in MLS. So I think that will be a really exciting measuring stick right away to see where we sit. Then obviously we've got the league schedule, which has been released, a lot of midweek games because you have an extended break for the World Cup. So the team will break for a few weeks. Those that aren't in the World Cup, we're hoping to have some representation of San Diego FC here on home soil, which will be amazing. And will be, again, a huge honor and a huge credit to the staff and the players. And then we have a ramped up second half of the season where Leagues Cup gets thrown in, a lot of midweek games, a lot of travel. We've got some long travel next year. We go away to Miami, we go away to New York, we go away to Orlando. The farthest we went this year was Charlotte. So that will create some challenges. So working through all of that. And then, as you mentioned, 27 could be completely different again. TBD still, but it sounds like you're going to have some type of sprint season the first couple of months of the year, and then you're going to break, and then you're going to start on the European calendar. And so a lot of exciting things coming, but a lot of new. Again, we're not too shy of new here since this is our first year, but really just looking forward to getting the team back together to try to get training again, improve, and then got to be ready for that game in CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I know if there's one team that can roll with the punches, it's gonna be us.
Yeah, it'll be next man up next year, and there's gonna be no other way around it. You don't have an academy, you don't have a second team, and that causes some difficulties on your roster build. You need to have as many players ready to go as possible, and we proved that we needed every single guy this year. There were games this year we had 4 guys on the bench. We have a bit of a tricky situation at goalkeeper now because we've got Pablo he will be suspended for the first game of the MLS season after his red card, and CJ still recovering. He's making positive strides, but let's see how that goes. It was amazing to see our first signing, Duran, get an opportunity in the Western Conference Final in his hometown. Again, you got to take
that was a crazy, kind of overlooked moment.
And then 30 seconds in, he's got to make a massive save on Ryan Gold. And then he gets a ball zipped to him, and he stops it with the sole of his foot, and he plays it straight out wide. So
I was thinking of every time he got the ball, oh man, MLS debut in the Western Conference Finals.
You can't make this stuff up. No. And again, I think life threw a lot of punches at us this year, and that's why also we all need rest, we all need reflection, and that's what will come in the next couple of weeks. But things come quick here, and it's about now trying to build off this year.
Well, we're really excited. Obviously, this has been an incredible year one. I know for everyone in this room for different reasons and different experiences, but we're really grateful for all the time you've invested in, coming onto this podcast and educating our fan base and talking to everyone and with all of your insight. So thank you so much for all the insight and support you've given to this club. And we'll see you. This is our last episode for the first year. So we thank you all for tuning in and listening to many hours of us talking for a long time and all your support. So
we
thank
appreciate you coming in here, talking to us, getting little insights. And obviously for the fans, it's a big time to be able to hear from the sporting director of the entire club. So I appreciate it.
No, well, thank you guys. Again, this is a first for everything, the first podcast in San Diego history. And so it's a huge credit, and it takes a village to create this club and to have the success on and off the field that I think that we did have. And we have really good people, and I'm looking forward to continuing to working with everybody, including you guys, into next year.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. That's a wrap for the season. Enjoy your time off and your holidays, and we'll see you back in 2026.
Keep flowing with us. Go relax.